Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and special guest, Vocal Pineapple.
Hey, I'm here. What's up, everybody?
Fun fact, we've been talking about this happening at some point since like September of last year.
It takes forever to get me to do anything,
It
honestly. My
it
life
never
gets in the way of everything.
materialized, but we're here. We made it.
It's time.
Oceanman is watching Jujutsu Kaisen 0 in like, oh god, Swiss?
I still haven't made it out to the theater to watch it, and I'm ashamed.
It was very good. I really enjoyed it. The last time I
I
went to
hear
see an
from all my
anime movie
friends.
in theaters was Resurrection of Frieza, which was awful. Uh,
I
but
think the last time I went to see a movie in theaters was the second My Hero movie,
they put that in London theaters?
right before the
I didn't know
pandemic.
that.
Yeah, like right before the pandemic, they put that one in theaters here, and then it might have even been like in the beginnings of the pandemic, and then after that, it was like, well, I'm not going to a theater for a long
Yeah,
time, and
well, yeah.
I still haven't got the balls to go back.
I've just recently started going back. I think the first movie I saw back was Batman. Then I went to Jujutsu Kaisen 0
I think the safest movie to go see would be Morbius, right? Because then,
because no
you're
one
not
else is in
likely to
the
be sitting next to.
theater.
Yeah, it's going to be empty. So, there's no danger.
Man, I think that movie was cursed from the get-go just by having Jared Leto in it. Everyone was already so ready to say that it sucked ass.
They almost got me, honestly. There were some of the trailers where I was like, man, am I excited for Morbius? What is happening? What's happening? And then over the last 2 weeks, I've come down back to my senses like, no, 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 no. Okay, no, no, no. It's Jared. Okay. We got to
It's
remember it's
still
Jared.
Jared. Yeah, don't
Yeah, it's
forget.
still Jared in the role.
Jesus. Yeah. But I want to say Swiss. I know. I feel so bad because I'm admitting this on the air. I think it's Swiss. Is the language he's seeing it in. I should know that,
The,
and I don't.
the dub?
Mm, Yeah, yeah,
That's going to be interesting, I wonder.
yeah. Well, I assume he's seeing the dub because he's going as like a guest for a anime like distribution company that he.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember on Twitter, he like revealed that they were dubbing it in his
No, I don't
language.
think I saw that, actually.
Oh yeah, apparently the dubbing group in Switzerland. I think it's Switzerland.
They're like,
Like
we're doing it.
contacted him and they're like, "Hey, it turns out we really suck at publicizing anime, so we thought we'd reach out to like anime YouTubers and help to try to get people to know that we're actually doing it." So he
Wow,
got to
look at
reveal
that.
that.
What a great strategy. I wish,
Shocking.
they thought of that more often.
So he got to reveal that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was coming there, and today is the debut, I guess. So he's gonna be
That's pretty
there.
badass.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
gonna
no, he
lie.
has to be there then.
Yeah. So we're still here. We're still reading manga. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he's still reading manga too. So all three of us are reading manga.
Yeah, I was reading all the chapters right before this, make sure I was caught up on the officials. I don't want to
No crazy fan
fancy
scans.
speak. No, I want to call him Zolo, let's do all
Yeah,
the right Viz
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So you guys are in for something today. We're actually gonna talk about One Piece
Yeah,
on this episode. By we, I mean him.
hilarious.
And I'm gonna jump in every now and go again and go, damn, Zoro's really cool. Um, and then also Sakamoto Days guy, you win, buddy.
Yes.
It's happening.
Yes.
I don't know if you know
We have to
the
talk about
lore of
Sakamoto.
the lore of the comments. We get this one guy every week I love him, and he always says it's week whatever number it is of me begging Oceans to get caught up on Sakamoto Days so you can discuss it on this show, and it never happens.
You got me now.
It's
I'm going
time.
to talk about it.
It's time.
I had to bust down the door for the Sakamoto Hive. I see ya. I
So
understand.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna do things a little different because he reads some chapters I don't. I read some that he doesn't. And I don't want to just completely cut out all the various ones that you guys may come in here for. So I'm going to talk about the ones that I at least expect people to want to read. Like, I don't think we have any Akane Banashi hardcores in the comments who are going to be like, what the hell? If I don't talk about it,
You
so
missed
I'm not
out.
gonna. Yeah, seriously. Now that I say that, they're all gonna show up and be like, "What the hell?"
It's
Uh,
going to be day one, day two of me trying to convince.
so what we'll do is I'm just gonna talk about some. He's gonna talk about some, and we'll chime in on just like thoughts about the series as a whole for the ones that we don't read. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is Mashle.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Mashle? Have you read it at all?
So I read up until the music guy in Mashle, right?
Oh, okay.
And then I kind of fell off around that point.
Okay.
But I
So
was there
right,
for like the
like in the
Wand
big
Awakenings and
tournament
stuff
thing
like
that they
that.
were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like in the middle of that, I didn't mean to stop reading, but that just kind of often happens of stuff that I'm like naturally a little less interested in at the time. I just start reading like other stuff and then I forget that I even dropped the series. A lot of times it's not intentional.
I get you. Yeah, sometimes you just like stop. That happened to me with Mission Yozakura Family. I was reading it hardcore, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't read it in 10 weeks.
You're like, wow, I kind of dropped
I
that.
should, yeah, I should. I did catch back up. It's very good, but still. So yeah, Mashle, his this was more just a setup chapter. His various creepy brothers get revealed. Do you know? This is off topic to the actual chapter itself again, but it's about Mashle. Did you see the bit where he had to come out and say, "Haha, just kidding. I'm not ending the series."
Oh, I did see that on Twitter
Yeah,
where people he was saying, "Yeah, I'm ending the series," and then the editors probably told him, "No, no, 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 buddy.
because it was in like
No,
a
you're not."
volume a long time ago. He was like, "Yeah, Mashle," or maybe it was an interview. I don't remember, but he was like, "Mashle's about, I think, 80, 70, 80% done. We're almost finished." And then in volume notes, he had to be like, "Yeah, I was just joking.
I was lying. Don't worry about it,
Totally
guys.
kidding. Actually, it's not even close to done." Because the
Blink if
editors
you're
saw
okay,
Dr.
sir.
Stone and they saw My Hero wrapping up, and they were like, "Oh shit."
No, we need something else.
Yeah, so Mashle's here to stay, and we got to meet his funny brothers that are gonna artificially inflate the length of this series. Um, Creepy
What
Angel
a way to do
Man,
it, by the way.
Pudding Man. There's one that's just about pudding with just Creepy Clown
Why?
Man. Yeah, I don't know. He's introduced and he gets an entire page talking about pudding.
Just why?
Uh,
Why is that the way to extend the series, right?
to give
Yeah,
him
you know what
more.
this
Yeah,
series needs more of? We need some pudding.
we need Pudding Man. Yeah,
We're gonna
Pudding
get some
Way,
pudding in
the
here.
brother, and then Creepy Clown brother, and then Guts brother comes back in. He's actually pretty cool. I like this guy. And they
So they're
discuss
not
their
all
evil
bad.
plan. Nah, some of them are cool. There's only two of them that are like, okay. I say only two of them. There's four of them in this chapter, so half of them are weird.
Okay. Well, that's a
One's
good mix then.
one's a creepy clown, and he's
Which of
like,
course.
I'm a creepy clown man. I tricked you with this fake sword, and I like you looking scared. And now I bet you'd be even scareder if I stabbed you with a real sword. And then Guts brother is like, cut that shit out. Okay, we need to let's get back down to earth a little bit here. And then
So insane clown posse and then strongman.
yeah. And they talk evil for a little bit, and Voldemort is like, I'm gonna become a god, and then that's the end of the chapter. It was 100% just a setup chapter for him to be like, all right, here's these characters we're gonna start dealing with to make the series last longer. Um, but it was fine in and of itself. I mean,
It could be
Mashle's a
worse, I'm
joke.
sure.
Mashle's like a joke half the time, anyway. So I can't hate it too hard, especially since Mash himself is obsessed with cream puffs. Pudding guy fits in fine. Maybe they'll bond over that. I don't know.
They got to combine the two somehow.
A pudding cream puff.
The perfect fusion.
That would actually kind of be a funny joke. I would be on board with that if they did that.
So, how about One Piece?
Yep, we can go into. Let me. So here's the lore of the show that you gotta be aware of. Is I completely do this shit on the fly, so I'm filling out the timestamp list
Understandable.
right now. Uh,
No,
okay.
understand. I feel like that's the best way to do things. You end up rambling, and then it's like you get the good stuff out of the rambles.
Exactly. All right. So next up, we'll do One Piece.
All right, so One Piece this week, it's kind of conflicting with some people, right? Some people I've seen calling it too goofy. I'm personally in love with this kind of stuff because I grew up with very much like Looney Tunes stuff. I'm an old man, sad to say it. On Twitter at 27, you're middle aged.
Oh
You're
yeah,
out of here
you're
soon.
you're 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, I'm gone, guys. So honestly, like my experience of Looney Tunes and the Mask, that might be the last thing I can reference in enjoying this One Piece journey. But I really like this chapter. I really like the fight between Luffy and Kaido. Like it's been going on for a long while. They've been going back and forth for so long. But Roof Piece, as we all call it, has been really, really entertaining. And Gear 5, honestly, like I see some people saying it's like too much, but I feel like it kind of goes in line with, what One Piece is. You're gonna have that naturally goofy kind of aspect. Otis humor is gonna come into play. And then there's like good action. And then obviously, the One Piece, the one thing everyone knows about Oda is, you're gonna get some funky designs. You're gonna get some interesting design choices. So I really like how that kind of sticks here with the Gear 5 form, right? Like it's not it's a cool looking form, but then there's all sorts of like goofy aspects to it, right? And that's like one of the aspects of One Piece that I like, that there's all these like retellings of like classic kind of like Disney, not literally Disney stories, but you know, those like the stories that Disney stories are based off of, I guess.
The
And there's
Grim
like,
Tales or whatever they're called.
yeah, like the fantasy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like Snow White and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's like, yeah, there's still a very childish quality to it in One Piece, but then Oda injects like this like layer of darkness, right? And then over the layer of darkness, it's like, but here's my humor. And I really like how that always comes across in stuff like One Piece. So I really don't get people who are like, this is too goofy, this is too much. It's like, well, it's always been kind of goofy. It's
Yeah, I was
always
about
been
to say,
kind
has
of
One
rooted
Piece
in
ever
that.
not been goofy? He's like
Like you're
he's a stretchy rubber boy.
Yeah, he's literally a balloon boy. He's a balloon animal. Like, you know what I mean? At a certain point, especially once he was going to awaken his devil fruit and everything like he did in the this chapter and the last chapter, it was bound to get a little nutty, right? Even just the idea of Luffy turning his surroundings into rubber, like if you're aware that that's something that could happen, you know it's going to get a little funky when that ends up happening. But I thought there were really cool standout moments in this chapter. Like one, Luffy going giant against Kaido and stomping on him and all that stuff. That was really, really cool. And I think that has like, further implications for like the lore of giants in the world of One Piece. Another cool thing that I realized in this chapter was Luffy can turn Kaido's body into rubber, which I didn't know was a thing you could do with Awakening, right? Like I knew you could do it to your surroundings, but I didn't know you could affect another person's physical body with your Awakening. I don't know if that's something that's like specific to Luffy, but like that has kind of been throwing Kaido for a loop this chapter, right? And yeah, like it's been giving him some big problems. Luffy used him as a jump rope. Luffy stretched his eyeballs out. He stretched his body out all sorts of weird ways. At the end of the chapter, I think he literally punches through his head,
Yeah,
but like rubberizes
I'm
it. And
looking
it's like,
through
how does that
it.
work with your brain? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the danger here, where like Luffy can punch you in your head and his hand can go through your head, but like we know like when he applies the property of rubber to bone, it's still bone. Like like when he does gear third, it's still hard bone. So it there is kind of like a blowback to that. And now it's like he's applying that to other people when he's fighting them, because I can't imagine Kaido's brain is just having a great time after getting rubberized and squished around a fist, like that has to suck. That can't be fun. So all in all, I thought it was a great One Piece chapter. I like the goofy aspects of it, but I get that that's not for everybody. But I don't know, hang in there. The form doesn't seem like it lasts that long, so it's probably going to come in short bursts. And don't forget that, like he still has to fight Blackbeard at some point, and all this like goofy, fun Gear 5 stuff is cool now. But Blackbeard can turn all that stuff off. He could just say stop, stop it, bonk. You know what I mean? So like there's still some trouble for Luffy to go through. I saw people saying that he's never gonna struggle again in a fight, but like I doubt Shanks is gonna be really like struggling with this all that much. And I doubt Blackbeard. I mean, he takes damage a lot and he doesn't like being hit, but that devil fruit is still very powerful. And the ability to cause earthquakes and everything is still very powerful. So I do think there's some struggle for Luffy left. So hang in there. Yes, it's goofy, but I think also like when you get new transformations and stuff, that's really when you go off the most. I've noticed that about manga. That like when a character gets a new transformation, you get like a very pure kind of like overdone version of that transformation, and then it kind of winds down in like future showings. So like if this is the most goofy kind of crazy Looney Tune stuff we're gonna see out of Luffy, I feel like eventually it's going to calm down a little bit, right? And it's always still going to be there, but it's not going to be as intense as like the first showing where you really want to show like, okay, this is what this is. This is the tone shift. Here's what we're doing, like I think it eventually is going to tone down a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of like manga 101, right? It's like when you make your new form that you want everyone to be hype about, you want to
You got
show
to
that form
really show it
absolutely
off.
beating ass. Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I will say I
So,
actually think Gear 5 is visually appealing, which I don't think a lot of Luffy's forms are. Like I think that the form where he's like got the super ripped arms and he's like huge and round is like the worst shonen
yeah, it's
transformation ever.
it's Gear 4, it's very goofy looking, right?
I
Snake Man kind of like gets some of the swag back though. Like he's still pretty thin. He doesn't look all that crazy and goofy. But this form is like, this is like in the realm of like Super Saiyan or like QB Sage mode, right? Like this is like cool. This is
Yes,
just all
I think
around
this looks
cool.
actually cool, which is not a thing I say about Luffy very often. So
It's not a thing you can say about One Piece all the time. That like, oh, this new design is fantastic. Actually, this is great. And in this chapter, we get a great double page spread by Oda. How often does he give those out? Like an actually great double page spread
Yeah, I
of
saw Twitter
Luffy
popping
attacking
off like,
Kaido.
thank God, Oda has
It's
finally drawn a
time.
spread.
It's like Oda went Gear 5th. He was like, I'm about to pop off. So I really enjoyed this chapter of One Piece. I've had like my problems with One Piece, but honestly, like this Roof Piece arc, maybe it's just activating the meathead in me, but I've really been enjoying it. I've really been having a blast actually. And it's sad that it's coming at a time where I'm not enjoying my hero that much.
Yeah, well,
Let's put me in a weird situation. I'm in this weird place in my life now where it's like, wow, I'm enjoying the One Piece chapter every week a little better than the My Hero chapter. What's
Mr. My
happening here?
Hero Academia.
I'm becoming Roger. At this point, I'm just gonna start combing my hair.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, Ocean Man has not ranked it higher than Jujutsu Kaisen in God only knows how long either. So,
Now, how could you, in good conscience, though? Honestly,
well, you're
with
right.
what Gege is giving
Like,
out
I'm
right
gonna
now in
argue
Killing Game,
against that. You're completely correct.
there's no way you can't. I've gone on Twitter to say on record, no, Jujutsu Kaisen is just better, guys. I'm sorry.
Like,
I've
I
reached the
don't know what to
point.
say. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
The triple domain expansion hit the even though it was just a chapter cliffhanger and we didn't end up seeing the domains. I was like, no, 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 no. I don't care, guys. I'm
The
sorry. What do you
sheer
want me to
hype that
do?
exploded on Twitter when that happened was just unreal. Like, it was too much.
I'm just being fed so well in Jujutsu Kaisen. Not to make like a Ishigori pun, but like it's a great meal that I'm getting served right now with Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Jujutsu Kaisen in a little bit. First, I'm gonna touch on Undead Unluck.
Yes,
Uh, really good. So shit's popping off now. It's kind of getting crazy. Like we're like learning God's plan and what happens when the cycle comes around again. There was a lot of Peter Pan references in it that went right over my head because I don't know shit about Peter Pan.
I
So
don't know much about Peter Pan either.
sorry, yeah, sorry readers who really
Peter
like
Pan
Peter Pan.
fanboys, we're so
Yeah, I
sorry.
know. Yeah, leave it in the comments how much we suck for ignoring Peter Pan.
The lore
Um,
behind Captain Hook is actually very interesting.
the
He's
deep
based on
lore
Captain
behind
Hook,
the
which is a real. He used to drop lambs off in different islands so that there would be fresh land when he came back. I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay, yeah. The
okay,
crocodile that ate
Captain
his
Hook.
hand is actually multiversal. Could probably take on Jiren.
You know, it has very strong feats in the book. We just haven't read it.
We just don't know anything about it. And there's a lot of cute moments in this too, because the part of the whole Peter Pan thing where it comes in is that this little girl who's been obsessed with Peter Pan learns how to astral project, because that's the
Okay,
equivalent of Peter Pan flying, apparently.
sure,
Which fine. And
sure thing.
the whole trigger for it is like the same thing with Peter Pan, is that you have to think happy thoughts and like about your dreams and what you want. And our zombie boy is like, I really don't have anything because my life is primarily empty. I'm just an immortal man who is sad all the time. And he's like, actually, I do have a dream. And then he astral projects himself as an old man. And his dream is just actually getting to grow old with the people that he loves and die with them instead of outliving them. And I was like, oh, that was pretty cute.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah, that's pretty. Because there's like a
Now
little
I'm sad.
flashback that he has of like his friends, and they have a baby, and he's like, "Oh, look at this baby," and then he sees them as like old people, and then it's him at their funerals, and he looks the same in all of it, and they're all like old and dying,
Oh,
and he's like burying his friends. Um, and then
that's
his astral
sad.
projection is that he's old, and I'm like, that's cute. And then they busted out of they got trapped last chapter inside the King of Rules, basically, and they busted out, and they're about to fight the King of Rule Negators now. So next week should be pretty fucking hype.
Okay, I like Undead Unluck. I haven't caught up completely, but I've been reading it like around since the beginning of publication, and then I dropped off like around the end of the book arc, right, where like she goes into the book and all that stuff
Oh
happens.
yeah.
I stopped reading right around there, but it's just like I kind of like reading Undead Unluck in batches. So like once I got there, I'm like, okay, this is an emotional journey. I'm gonna put this down for a little bit
Yeah,
and
I
then
have
read
some
another
issues with
batch.
Undead Unluck when Fuko is out of the picture because she's not in it right now.
Okay, I find her really interesting.
We're in a rescue Fuko arc, basically. So it's all Zombie Man, and it's really hard for me to get too invested in fights with Andy because the way that powers in Undead Unluck work is it's all about your interpretation of how your own power works, which is a really unique way of saying you can just do whatever the hell you want at any point.
Yeah, they have better quirks.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a quirk, but also you can do whatever the hell you want with it at any point and justify it however you want, and it works.
It's
So
like
it's
quirks mixed with JoJo.
yeah, basically. So it's hard for me to get too invested in the stakes of a fight with a man who cannot die and who can also do whatever he wants. It's like after a
Yeah, kind of
while, I'm like,
valid. He's
damn.
like, hey, I'm gonna shoot my arm at you now. Hey, here's a Getsuga Tensho of blood, and you're like, all
Well,
right.
well, the most recent one that kind of was too much for me was his skin, blood, and bones all separated and became their own autonomous fighters.
That sounds like something fresh out of Baki,
Yeah, it was like,
honestly.
okay, like this is getting a little out of hand for me. But this
So he
chapter
basically did
humanizes
shadow
him a little bit more.
clone.
He made 3 shadow clones, one of his skin, one of his bones, and one made of his blood.
It's horrifying,
And
actually.
they all fought
Could
their
you imagine
relative.
fighting a bone man and then a skin man at the same time, and the muscle man is just somewhere unseen? That's
Well,
horrifying.
the Skin Man won his battle because he somehow is immune to gravity because he's so light, which is not how gravity
Okay,
works, but that's okay.
at all.
Nope. And then his skin was somehow so razor sharp that it sliced up the gravity monster.
Okay.
The bone monster fought against a lava monster because I guess bone doesn't melt, which I'm pretty
Is
sure is
immune to
also
lava.
untrue. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
also untrue, but it did win. And then I don't remember what the Blood Man fought. The Blood Man fought something and killed it with blood
He
powers.
probably fought some water, and he was like, "If we mix, we just become
I'm,
blood."
yeah, I'm thicker than you are, so I win.
Wow. Wow.
Something like that, I'm sure. But humanizing him a little bit in this chapter is nice, like, because it helps to remember that actually he does suffer, just in ways that aren't conventional. So that was good. All in all, good chapter,
Okay.
good series. Feeling good about it.
All right. Is
All
it
right,
time for
it's time
the
for
promised day?
the promised day of Sakamoto Days.
So Sakamoto lately has been in like a training arc, kind of. It's like an exam arc more so, where they go on a plane. There's a movie director. He crashes the plane, and now everyone is in teams on a beach, and they have to catch each other's like. They have like these colored tails that they had to put on as like part of like pretty much the hunter exam is what it is, right? Like
It
they
basically.
have to put they have to put like these colored tails on their backs and hunt down in teams other players' tails. So it's like tuning exams mixed with hunter exams to a certain extent. So in this chapter, we deal with last chapter there was like a cliffhanger where Sakamoto realized that one of his teammates, this girl that was introduced in this arc, is actually related to one of the top assassins from his like older, younger years. And I believe her name is Akao. So, oh yeah, Rion Akao. So
Mhm.
they are working together, obviously, on this beach to try to take other people's tails. And he realizes that as we cut back to a fangirl of his who's actually like a special operative. Like there was like a like recommendations in My Hero where it's like, hey, you're better than the rest clearly, so we're just gonna get you into the school that you want to get into. Here they get to skip the first stage of the test. These like special 4 students, and one of them is obviously like a big fanboy of Sakamoto because she has like a little Sakamoto keychain, and of course you have to take that opportunity as author to have her go up against Shin,
Yes.
right?
Well,
Because
yeah, naturally.
as the two fans, you have to do that, right? So they have this little skirmish in the forest. I forget the 14-year-old character's name, but he's also like a recent character in
With
this arc.
the one who wears the mask.
The mask constantly. I love his dialogue, honestly. He's always just kind of tearing people down in like very Twitter ways, I feel. I don't know what it is about his dialogue that just all reads like tweets to me.
It's all
It just always
ratios.
reads like a mean tweet. Yeah, no, every comment is like L plus ratio plus you don't know Sakamoto. It's like, all right. Okay. So we have this little skirmish of them fighting against the girl who's a big fan of Sakamoto. They end up falling in the river because they don't listen to their other advanced teammate, and his name is Kaji. And then the girl explains pretty much that she saw Sakamoto at a younger point in her life, pretty much fighting and taking out a group of people. It kind of looks like he saved her from like a group of like mafia men or something or assassins. And she idolized him from that point. And because of her obsession with Sakamoto, she like advanced her life in positive ways, but it always was rooted in her obsession with him, right? So she felt like, hey, if I get into music, maybe I'll get into music that he likes, and we could learn how to enjoy music together. And then that like made her interested in music. She was like, hey, if I learn how to, speak to people and become, really like personable, if I ever meet him, we could have a great conversation. And that led to her becoming really, really popular and getting tons of friends. she thought, if I do my makeup really well and I look pretty for him, maybe that'll be a good thing. So, she knew how to make herself beautiful and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much every benefit that's ever come out of her life, like any good thing, she attributes to being related to Sakamoto. She has like that level of obsession. Where she's like, any good thing that's ever happened to me, albeit, it's all because of my hard work, it all is really thanks to him.
Yeah, it's funny too because she's like, I learned how to do makeup so that I would be pretty. So if he saw me, he would think I was pretty. I learned how to talk to people. So if I saw him, I could talk to him. It's
And
like,
it's like,
God damn.
wow, you're down bad. You're
Yeah.
really obsessed with this old man. Little do you know that you've seen him just standing on the beach right across from you. And I'm sure that reunion or that's gonna come up soon, right? Like they definitely have to meet
Well, it's funny because
because
she saw him already and just didn't know it was him because he's fat now.
yeah, we're waiting for Slim Mode
Yeah.
to
Well, we're
come into
waiting for
play.
well, Slim Mode. I don't think he does anymore.
Does he not?
Well, remember he got that whole thing about like, oh, you're going into Slim Mode to counteract the fact that you don't know how to fight as a fat guy, but if you learn to fight as a fat guy, you'll do even better. Um,
Oh, so he's just like, I'm all right.
Yeah, so
I,
I
I
have a
I
feeling
didn't
she's
read that
gonna
as
have
like
to come to terms with the fact that
he's just fat
he's just
now.
an old fat guy now.
He's like, hey, I could go back to the way that you like me going, but I'm trying to like reach a new level right now. Like I'm trying to reach the next level, and right now I have to be fat to do that. That's kind of hilarious, actually. No, I interpreted that as kind of being like he maybe would be put in a situation, right, where he would have to revert back to slim mode, but like for the most part, he would be in fat mode. But like I guess him not using it at all would be another good way of just like, really testing himself. Just like Shin's testing himself in this chapter and the last chapter by not wanting to have any of Sakamoto's help, right? He's like, "Hey, we're opponents here, I don't want your help. I don't want to team up with you. I don't want like let's go our separate ways." And I thought that was also really cool as Shin because, you have to put yourself in like areas of adversity to grow in any way in life. Like that's like rule number one. You have to struggle to get better at what you're doing. And here you're killing people. You're getting better at, evading and killing people. So having the best assassin ever's help is probably not a good way to do that.
Yeah, because he'll just carry you the whole time. And I gotta say, Shin's version of like basically the Ultra Instinct thing that he does is so fucking cool.
It's really cool the way that it's made like in the manga, right? Like the way that they use the panels and the paneling and then like just the order of events. I always really like the way that that's done in this manga. I mean, that's one of the best things I think about Sakamoto Days. The action and the paneling is really, really good, but like the mangaka is really tricky with the way he does things or they do things. I don't think I actually know.
Yeah, I mean the mangaka's amazing at conveying action in general. Like Sakamoto's always had, in my opinion, the best choreographed fighting in Jump, even better than Jujutsu Kaisen, which already has really good
Yeah.
fighting also. Um,
Yeah, no, I would say so too, especially when people start cutting buildings and
yeah,
having the whole panel is cut and everything. It's like, all right, well, clearly you guys have it. Even though you're not using curse techniques or anything, you're supposed to be normal people, but sure.
yeah. Well, normal in anime is
Normal.
relative.
So the chapter ends off with Shin really pissing her off pretty much by having a different interpretation of who Sakamoto is because he's actually spent time with him and she feels like that's like the ultimate kind of like insult to her where it's like you really think you know him better than me.
They're
Like you
having a
really
Twitter
think
fight right now. Basically, is what's
yeah,
happening.
they're having an otaku off
Yeah.
pretty much where it's like, "Hey, I know this character better than you." And you're like, "No, no, wait a minute. You're completely misreading this." It's kind of like what I do every day. But they're having it in like a life or death fight and I really respect that. And that's right where the chapter ends off of her pretty much breaking the log that they're both standing on. And I think we probably should cut back to the beginning stuff of Taro and Akira next chapter. But I do think somehow they're going to end up at the beach, right? Like we're on a stream right now. It's probably heading towards the ocean. So we might all end up in the same place anyway.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, that we have to have her come across him at some point, and it
Yeah.
seems like Sakamoto's current fight has more or less ended. Akira took care of business last time, so I assume that that's where they're going to end up. Is we may actually not cut. I don't know, but I don't feel like we're going to cut back to Sakamoto too much until Shin and this girl's fight ends. Like I think you're right
Okay.
that it will end up where they are.
Yeah, I agree. And I wonder also like if Akira is gonna sew the guy's neck
Oh,
because
just
you've seen
save
that she
him.
has sewing. Yeah, like I think you see that she already regrets like going as hard as she did right last chapter and having that moment of just like, yeah, let's kill or whatever that was about. I think the solution would be then to save him, right? Like sew his neck and save him, and you could kind of like atone a little bit for what you did. Like even though it's a test, you don't have to kill the guy.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't think about that because her whole shtick is when she's not in killer mode, she's like the ultimate housekeeper.
Yeah, so it's like you could do that, take care of the guy for a second, make sure he survives, and then obviously move on, taking his tail and everything, and you could pass the test that way. And then I'm sure she'd have to do that before preparing for Sakamoto's fangirl to pull up on them because that's going to be they're going to fight.
Yeah, sure. Well, I imagine she's just gonna start fighting everyone once she realizes that that's Sakamoto and he's just hanging out with other people. Either
Like,
that
who are
or
you?
she
Are you
doesn't
his
care.
fangirl?
There's two
Could you
options, right?
imagine
So
that?
so that happens, or they fight each other and she gets super mad that he's around other people, or she just gets so hyped to see him that she's like, "Oh, I'm on you guys' team now."
I'm part of the team now,
Yeah.
part of the
Oh,
main
I'm with
cast.
y'all
Let's do it.
now.
I got
Yeah, I like
upgraded.
this guy.
That's hilarious. That's very valid because that could happen. I like that Sakamoto has such a big cast. I
Yeah, I
feel like a
like it
lot of
too,
stuff now
because
they kill their cast off
well, either they kill the cast off or like
or waste them.
they make background characters that just aren't interesting, you know?
Yeah.
But every time Sakamoto brings in like a new character that hangs around for a while, like I like him. Like the sniper guy, I love that guy. With the bird?
And then they all get to relax.
Yeah.
You all get to see them in their downtime, and you're like, oh, cool. You're just around now because there's no reason for me to see you in your downtime now if you're not going to do something in the future. You would just
Right.
be written off. So like, it's good to see a cast being established, and like all of them are genuinely interesting in what they can do and like who they are. Even like it's a cool organization. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that Sakamoto thinks about the little stuff because you'll always have a different assassin or whatever whenever he's away, like guarding his shop to like protect his
Yeah,
wife.
that was really fun.
Like that shit's
And
funny
it's
to me.
always like the most unsuspecting looking. It's like, oh, this guy's gonna be okay. I can deal with this. And then you're like, oh no, this is a grave mistake I made coming into this shop. Oh no.
Yeah, it's always good. I always love that about Sakamoto. It's just a quality manga all around. I've never
I
been
love the level of
disappointed with a
humor.
chapter of it. Like, it's got great humor without feeling like a gag manga. Because sometimes, like with Mashle, I'm like, okay, this is a little too much now. Like, you're mid
Yeah, no, and
fight.
it
Why
doesn't
are you
have like,
pulling cream puffs out of your jacket and like talking about how great they are? It's like, all right, yeah. It doesn't have that like gag manga feel to it, but it has
yeah.
really good humor mixed into it while
And
still
because it's
maintaining
about
action.
assassins, it still maintains that like life or death kind of thing that that tension that you need. Like, at any point, uh-oh, there's killers around everywhere. These people are intending to kill each other. Like, there's fun in games, but everyone here is killing each other.
Yeah, like shit's going crazy all the
It's kind of
time.
madness.
All right, so we're going to jump onto one more series before we hit the finale, even though nobody likes it but me and Oceans, and that's Earthchild. Uh,
Earthchild.
yeah, if you haven't checked this out, you should because it's only 7 chapters long, so it's real easy to get caught up with so far. Um, it's completely like super unique take on a manga in general. Personally, I haven't seen anything quite like this. It's about just like a normal guy who meets and falls in love with what's called an Earthchild, which is basically like a psychic. And they're very rare. There's like a couple ever at a time, and they fall in love and they have a baby. And then she has to go on this mission to save the Earth because it's going to get hit by an asteroid. And she does manage to save the planet, but at the cost of what we assume is her life at the time.
Ooh.
And so he decides to raise the baby himself, and it turns out the baby is also an Earthchild, a rather very powerful one. And he's just like a regular dude trying to raise this kid in like a happy, healthy environment, despite him having crazy powers. And then it comes out that the mother is actually still alive, sort of. She's like fused with space debris, um,
Okay.
and she's like still sort of alive, and they're trying to get her out of space so that they can save her, but the kid isn't able to do that because of the precision that like is required to do that. Just having the raw power to do it's not enough. He's too little to like know how to be able to manipulate everything quickly enough to get her down, and they're trying to get her before she dies basically because her powers have been subconsciously keeping her alive, and like she's basically cars in space right now, like floating through space.
No. No, it's never good when someone goes, yeah, they're basically
They're
cars. And you're
basically
like,
cars. Yeah, it's not
oh,
great.
you had the worst fate.
Yeah, so she's floating through space in like a hunk of rock right now, but she's still mentally alive, and so they're trying to get her back so they can get her out.
Before she stops thinking
Before she
forever.
stops thinking, basically, yeah, before she dies. So like, she has this little moment where it turns out that the baby can use its powers to let her and him talk, which is cute. So she
Aw.
like can talk to her husband a little bit through the baby. Um, and then they have this little moment where the baby falls asleep, and she starts freaking out because she's like fading away, basically. And then that's when they reveal that her telekinesis that's been like automatically guarding her has been getting weaker and weaker over time, which means that she's
Oh.
on her way to dying, and it's going to be like 10 years before the baby can save her, because the baby needs to learn how to use his powers before that point, and it's not going to work out. And then we get the douchiest character of all time that I've ever met strolls in, who just
Uh-oh.
straight up calls himself the main character of Earth.
Great,
Yes.
great. That's a good start.
Yes, he basically says that he's like, oh yeah, every story in the world is a side story to my story, basically.
I love that actually. Okay, I'm here for that energy.
Yeah, like he's in
I'm
here
gonna say
basically
that at work
saying,
today.
yeah, I'm the shit. And then he goes, oh, so maybe the crisis that you're in isn't mine. It's actually your crisis. So you're going through a side story to the actual story, which is
Oh
my
my
life.
god.
Yeah, he calls this guy's wife saving her from space a spin-off of his story.
You know, even though that's the main plot of the manga.
Yeah, but then he also gives him good advice, sort of, that's like, if you are the main character of this story, you need to figure out how to tackle this head on. You can't push the responsibility of fixing this problem off on somebody else. But I will come and help you, because it turns out I'm crazy powerful psychic guy also.
Okay.
Yeah, at the very last panel is him popping out these contact lenses that I guess stop his powers or something. Because Earthchilds have like specific eyes, and he wears contact lenses to hide them. And then he reveals that he's like a crazy powerful psychic by making everybody and like all the chairs and shit in the room levitate. And then he's like, all right, so if you want my help, I'll help you save your wife. So we'll see where that
So we're
goes next
building the
week. Because
cast.
I imagine, yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to be as simple as, all right, I'll do this nice thing for you. Because his entire character is how much of a dick he is. So we'll
He's gonna
see.
need something, obviously. It's gonna be a quest.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of MMO. Fetch me this, and then I'll do this thing for you.
This manga sounds interesting. It sounds like a modern day Beelzebub with like stakes.
Yeah, so it's
It's
interesting because in the beginning, the first pilot chapter is almost entirely about the husband and the wife, and like their
yeah,
romance, and like
valid.
getting to meet one another and what it means and all that stuff, and like
Yeah, you
them
gotta do
having the
that.
baby. And then the very last page of the pilot chapter is the explosion of the meteor that she stops, and her dying, basically. What you think, at least at the
Genius.
time. And the last speech bubble is just her saying "I love you," and it's just him like crying on a rooftop with the baby.
It's
Um,
genius.
yeah, it's great shit. And then the next one, like it has a this is like it's gonna get canceled. 1,000,000% it's gonna get canceled,
No.
because it there's not like it's not a battle shonen. Like this is not. There's nothing appealing to teenagers in this at all.
It could be. There's still 7 chapters in. They can
That's
mix it
true.
in battle
That's true.
shonen.
This dude that
They can
showed
just
up
start
is
fighting.
definitely giving me asshole anime character vibes. So it's possible.
He's like, "Come fight me. I'm gonna level up your powers to an amazing extent in
Yeah,
3 chapters.
you're just a normal guy. Not anymore.
Let's go to this tournament for Astros.
I'm gonna take you to the Earthchild exams, and we're gonna get
Let's
you
do
your
it.
power.
That's the quickest way to turn around any publication. Exam arc. Let's
Exam
do it.
arc.
That's
Yep,
why it's
immediately.
always the second arc. They're like, no, readership. Gotcha.
Unless you're Red Hood, and then that's not even enough.
Oh man, I'm sad again. I'm sad again 100%. Wow. I had just forgotten about Red Hood. Great.
Oh yeah, even that couldn't do it. But yeah, you should definitely check out Earthchild if you haven't. It's only 7 chapters long, so you could crank that out in like half an hour.
I'm sure it'll end up being like 17, so I'll just give it a good full read.
Well,
when
yeah, I mean,
it's canceled.
yeah, it's got 20 in it, I'm sure, total.
I'll know whether or not it's gonna cancel if they go into an exam arc. If they go into an exam arc, I'm like, all right, I gotta start reading this now. This is gonna be a long runner.
Yeah, no, we'll see when it happens, but it is very good.
You have to be a battle shonen to exist.
So, I mean, Phantom Seer was, and it still wasn't enough.
Oh man, another sad. You're just making me sad.
Yeah, well, it's because I have never recovered from the loss of Phantom Seer. I'm
all
still
the stuff
vindictive
that I
and
like gets
petty.
canceled.
Yeah, Time Paradox
Except My Hero.
Ghostwriter, I lost that shit too.
Wow. I was just brought out here to get tortured
Just
because
to
ow,
be miserable with me. I need to
just
share
to
my pain.
reminisce. No, those all hurt really bad.
Yeah, I was like, the only one that makes me still angry to this day is Phantom Seer, because at least the other ones weren't like performing.
Phantom Seer had
But
everything. I
Phantom
feel
Seer
like it
was
just needed more
performing.
time.
But it just like, they had all the other battles running that were doing better. Like, I guess it was the worst performing battle shonen, but it was still beating out half the other shit in the book, and
I
they were
feel
like,
like
nah.
if Phantom Seer would have had 100 chapters, it would have been fantastic. It was the art was so
Oh,
good,
dude, the art
the
was
characters are
crazy.
so good. The art from chapter 1 was fantastic. It was like, oh whoa 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 whoa. You guys complain about all these other manga having quote unquote bad art, but we're gonna let the one that has great fantastic art from the get go get canceled. I hate you guys.
Yeah, just
I know it's
fucking.
not us, but still, I hate you guys. I'm gonna take it
Yeah,
out
I
on you
do it.
guys.
I hate him anyway. Like, somehow I'm holding them
God damn it.
responsible. Also, I'm like the only person in the world that liked Candy Flurry, so I lost that too.
I don't think I read Candy Flurry, so that one I'm shielded from,
Okay,
thankfully.
so all right, no pain for you on that one. And then there's some other. I remember counting, and it was like the last 2 years. There's been like 15 plus canceled manga. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Zip
every
Man.
wave there's always going to be two or three, right? But like it's never the ones that I expected. Like why is Roboco still here? Let's get on that hate train for a
Well,
quick
yeah,
second.
let's jump
Why is
on
that
that.
still here?
Well, because it's the most popular comedy manga in the book somehow, and they.
And it needs to not be. I
Yeah,
need
I
to
mean,
meet every reader and say stop it.
stop that
You're
shit right
taking up
now.
space.
Yeah, just counting from Tokyo Shinobi Squad, which got canceled in December of 2019. There's 1, 2, Samurai 8.
Yeah, well that needed to be
Yeah,
canceled.
3, Zip Man. That one got axed too.
Let's not talk about the Samurai 8 editor.
The guy who's currently running My Hero into the ground.
Ruining my hero, you mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Guardian of the
absolutely.
Witch, which ate it in June of 2020.
I
Bone
don't even
Collection that
remember
I
that one.
forgot existed.
I didn't like that
No,
right
I didn't
away.
like it. That was not
That
good.
just felt like it was like, hey, Yaiba.
Yeah, pretty much.
Remember
Yeah.
Yaiba?
You guys like Demon
Like,
Slayer? Want to
yes.
look at me? It didn't work
I'm
out.
Demon Slayer too.
Yeah. Mitama Security, which also wasn't that funny. Time Paradox Ghostwriter,
Sad.
Mori King, Our
Not
Blood
sad.
Oath,
I don't think I read that one.
Robot X Laserbeam.
A little sad. Oh yeah, that see, I hate golf as a concept, but I read that manga and I read the first chapter and I was like, okay, if you can somehow capture my interest in golf in one chapter, I will read this. And it did. And I
Yeah,
read
I
it
read
until
it
it
all the
got
way through.
canceled.
Yep.
It was actually pretty good.
That was
Like besides
actually
the
my
fact that you could tell it was
first
getting canceled.
sports manga that got me into them.
Yeah, because I didn't read Kuroko. I just watched the Kuroko anime, right? So I'm like, all right, you have me off the strength of your prior project in a sport that I actually like. Let's see what you can do now. And I was amazed.
Yeah,
And
I
then I
thought
got
it was
canceled.
actually very good. Sad to see it get canceled, but I guess it didn't hit whatever metrics they have for sports
Not
series.
enough laser beams.
Clearly. Right after that was Phantom Seer in April of last
Pain.
year. Build King also in April of last year.
No pain.
A Gravity Boys in May of last year.
No pain.
Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin.
That got canceled?
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to step up. No.
No, that got canceled big time, my friend.
Oh no. I enjoyed that manga. It was stupid, but I liked it.
No, that got axed way back.
It
June
had good art
20th
and
of
paneling.
2021.
I'm sad.
I Tell C, which ate it in June of last year.
I don't know that one.
That's the detective one where she's like she's a stalker, but she only stalks criminals. And then gets
Okay,
them
that's
arrested.
interesting.
Yeah, it was actually an interesting
Like
concept, but it didn't go anywhere.
like Dexter-ish.
Yeah. I don't know if Blue Flag is just short. I think it's just short.
I
But
don't think I read that
it's
one.
over. I don't know what it is, but it. Nine Dragons
Sometimes you
Ball
just gotta
Parade,
come with 9 chapters.
the
I've
baseball
never read that one
manga,
either.
got canceled in July of
Oh, I
last year.
remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that got axed at 20 chapters. Candy Flurry in September of last year. Red Hood in November. Neru Way of the Martial Artist in November.
Yeah.
There's
I
some
get it.
debate on if Magu-chan got canceled or not, because it did run for
That
70.
ended too.
Yeah, it ran for 77 chapters. A lot of diehards of the series, which apparently there are some, said that it got canceled, but I didn't see anything in the news, and usually the news will tell you if a series is getting
Yeah.
canceled. Um, so
Maybe the
I
ending
don't
was
know.
just sudden to them.
Maybe I don't know.
Sudden endings though tend to lend to like something. Oh, what happened? You
Yeah,
know, but
something went
sometimes it's just the
wrong. Yeah.
author. Sometimes the author is just like, I'm out of here, man.
Yep, which definitely could happen. It was, and it got like a special extra chapter too. So I think people are saying like, oh, it got canceled, and he wanted to try to put a cap on it. But sometimes people end a series, and then they're like, oh, well, let's just, I want to do a
Yeah,
little extra
there's one
bit
more
for it
for
at the end.
y'all.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. All I know is shit be getting canceled all over the place.
That's sad. Imagine all those mangaka now having to work on their next project. Like, what is it gonna be this time?
I know.
I had one idea.
Yeah, it's depressing. I mean, Horikoshi made it work after 2 cancellations. So
Yeah, but now we're here. Now we're here in dark times.
was it worth
It's like
it?
to do all that just to be like, man, I really want to end this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, damn. But I can't really put all the blame on him, honestly, because I don't know how much of it is the editor, right?
Yeah, I
Because it
mean,
is just weird,
it
the
was
consistency.
definitely a strange shift in the way he tells
Suddenly,
stories at like out
yeah,
of nowhere.
yeah, it's sad.
And
It's
I would
sad what
totally
they did
sign
to
on
my
to some of
boy.
it being burnout because being a mangaka blows. So,
Yeah, and he always was very consistent with saying, I'm not doing this longer than I want to. Like, thanks, Kishi, thanks everyone, but no,
yeah, where he's like, I'm
no.
suffering.
Yeah, I am bleeding my hands right now trying to make these like this final arc. Please leave me alone. You guys want a horror manga? No. I'm gonna retire after this.
I'm
I'm
never
good.
doing this again. Yeah. But, we'll see, I guess. We'll find out at the end
It's
whenever
sad.
whenever he's finally done and he starts giving the tell-all tea interviews about what happened.
Yeah, I had an awful time. Like they used to wake me up.
Shit was fucking
Remember
miserable.
that? Remember that interview where it was like, yeah, I used to go to Horikochi's house to wake him up. And it's like, dude, why are you proud of that?
Who was the mangaka who put out their schedule and then it got leaked who it was?
I don't know. I have
There
no
was
idea.
some guy, there was a big controversy about it cuz some dude anonymously put up his schedule and it was like 3 hours of free time a week.
Oh
Um
my
and
god.
then it got leaked and it was like actually a big time mangaka. Like I don't think it was Oda, but it was like someone on that level of like what the
Are you
fuck.
sure it wasn't Oda?
It might have been Oda, but it was like there was
Someone big, huh?
someone big put out their schedule, but it was like anonymously of like this is what a
That
mangaka
hurts.
schedule looks like, and he had like 3 hours of free time on a Saturday, and that was it. It was like
Do you,
work on manga, eat, sleep.
if you're Oda, do you think you could get away with at this point being like, hey guys, I kind of want to go monthly,
Yes, absolutely. Oda could do whatever he wanted. I'm very sure of it. Like
right? So like, I don't think anyone would like be hurt by that, other than losing 3 chapters a month, right? But like, they were a little longer too. The art would be a little better. Like, I'm cool with monthly manga, honestly. I don't know what I would do with myself 3 weeks out of the
well, right, yeah.
out
It's
of the
like,
month. Right? If everything was monthly, but certain things, it's like, okay, dude, you've been long running. You're getting up there in the years. Your schedule is probably not that great. Let's move you over to the monthly.
yeah,
Let's give you some
when you
room
hit
to
a
breathe.
thousand chapters, I feel like you just get to decide what you do with your own. You know,
Yeah, like, hey, man, what do you want?
like look at
What can
Araki.
we do for
Araki's just
you?
like, I'll just drop shit when I am done with it.
Yeah, no, here, the chapter is done. Here you go. I'll tell you when the next part is ready. Leave me alone.
Yeah, let me
I have to
fucking
get blood for my
rest.
next 45 years of life that I'm condensing because I'm an actual vampire. I think in my entire time being a JoJo fan, he hasn't changed his appearance at all,
Nope,
like visibly.
nope. Man's immortal. I'm convinced.
It's very, very scary.
It is a little weird that the series about vampires has the author who just doesn't seem to age ever.
It's like Freudian almost. It's like he knew what he was doing. Like I feel like I'm gonna be on my deathbed and there's gonna be a new Rohan chapter.
Thus
Like
spoke Rohan Kashibe, chapter 65.
Rohan in the future. You're like, oh, okay.
And that's
Rohan enters the
gonna, for some
metaverse.
reason, Dev Pro is gonna put more effort into that than they are into the Part 7 anime.
Don't say that. Don't hurt me like that.
Netflix is gonna
I
fuck
can't
up Part
have them.
7 and not fuck up
No.
Rohan.
You know what's so unfortunate? Like, if Part 7 gets the proper treatment, we're still not going to get peace because there's going to be people like, they only did this to Jolene. We
Oh,
know
I know.
why.
I know. That
And
is
I'm
gonna
like,
be
no, guys.
If anything, Jolene is the one who's getting the corporate treatment because they want to use her part to make it like, oh, JoJo's big now, so that should be a good thing. But
Yeah,
then it's
like
just getting
it's
fucked
like
over by said corporate treatment.
it's as a result of everything that's happened so far, right? Because of part five being so massive, they're like, all right, how can we cash in? And it's just unfortunate that it happens to be part six, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but we have to break free for part seven. I will not. I'll go into some offices and be like, hey, no,
Oh
Netflix.
my god, we cannot do this shit with Netflix in part 7.
I'm not waiting for batches. I
Here's
need to see
12
True Man's
episodes
World
and then no news
sequentially.
again for half a year. Like,
No,
what
I'll
the
cry.
fuck, dude?
I'll cry publicly.
We cannot have this
Whatever I have to
foreseeable
do.
run. Unacceptable.
No, I would genuinely cry. I'd be upset. I'd be so upset. It's like I have been waiting. That has been what I've been waiting for this whole time. The payoff, right, is one day we're gonna get part seven. One day. Oh, even when part one came out, it's like, okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. But one day we are gonna get part seven. And for them to ruin it if they do, that would be
The
heartbreaking.
most exciting thing about part 1 now that we know that it was going to continue after part 1 and it wasn't just an isolated thing, the most exciting thing about it is the opening where it shows the manga panels of part 7. Like,
It shows. I think that's the only part that they don't show actually.
no, they show, doesn't
Like,
it go from 8, 7 to 6?
oh, I thought they go to like from like 6 to 1 or something like that.
Dude, I could have swore they showed the horses in that, but maybe I'll go back
Because
and
I
look
remember
now.
seeing like a Twitter post. Maybe I shouldn't be going off of Twitter, I guess, and my faulty memory. But I remember seeing a Twitter post where it was like people were wondering if they would even do part seven and beyond because originally the first opening shows like 1 through 6. But maybe that was just that user was wrong and my memory is just
You're
crappy
right, it
because
does only show 1 through
actually
6. Okay. Yeah, that's just a funky looking panel of Jolene. Yep, so it stops at 6.
Funky Jolene. Well, that's that's what Netflix is giving us right now.
Well,
So
yeah, Netflix is God. That was so
I'm so
upsetting.
sorry.
I remember getting kind of excited when Netflix first did it because I was like, "Oh shit, so that means we're going to get like a shitload of JoJo." And they're like, "No, you're going to get 12.
No, here's 12.
Here's 12 and we're not even going to talk about it again for 9 months." Like, I
Yeah,
remember the
don't even
hype of
think about
Golden
it.
Wind every week of people being like, "Fuck, yes, it's time for another Golden Wind episode." And now that there's zero hype around Stone Ocean
I
because of that.
don't think anime can work on Netflix unless they release it weekly. And I don't understand like their why they wouldn't do that. It's like, hey man, that's how we're all used to consuming this. Yeah,
Well,
sure,
that's like
like binge watching
Netflix's
is
whole
fun.
shtick, right? It's like we're the binge. You binge on Netflix, but it's like not if you only give us 12 episodes.
I almost wish Disney Plus would have gotten it instead.
Anything
JoJo.
that releases it the way you should. Like, as neat as it is to be like, yay, I can just watch the show. It
Then you do it
completely
and
kills
you do
the
it, I
like any
do.
sort of hype and discussion about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like reading a manga weekly versus like discussion that happens after it's over. Anyone who reads a whole manga in one burst, yeah, you're gonna talk about it for a little bit, but like think of all the time people had to talk about it weekly when it was still going on. Like that's a whole different level of exposure of like people talking about it. You don't get that if everything is just released in 12 episode batches. People talk about it for 2 weeks and then it's like on to the next thing instead of like, this episode, next episode, what's gonna happen next week.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. All we know is it's not good.
I hate Netflix.
I hate Netflix too.
You
But
just
I
lost your
don't
potential
hate
Netflix sponsorship.
but I don't hate Jujutsu Kaisen, which is what we're about to start talking about
No,
right now.
of course not. Gege is feeding.
This man is my god. Someone needs to rein him in. He's too powerful.
No, no, just let him off.
Just let him pop
Let
off
him
at all
go
times.
crazy.
Dude, this final fight was so sick. Like the whole three-way battle was awesome and everything. But this entire last exchange was fucking sick. I can't handle it.
It's it's funny because I expected Uro to be the last one standing against Yuta, and then it's Ishigori, right? And it's like, okay, okay, lasers. That's what you got. Okay. How much can you do with that? And it's still been really, really awesome.
I love that when he loses his hair, loses the cannon shape. It's not a pompadour
Yes.
anymore.
No, but that's what we need. That's always the cool thing about Pompadour characters. Once they get a little too frazzled or they lose, it's like, oh, the hair is gonna come out, and you're gonna see how long my hair actually is, and I look like a badass.
So
Just
Yuta, the whole like concept of his curse technique is fucking dope, and it actually still raises a lot of questions because like,
and busted.
well, it is very busted. Yuta's extremely overpowered, but they talk about like how did he get a chance to copy her technique, and it's Ryu who assumes that he's able to copy it because Rika ate her
He ate
arm.
Uro's arm.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't explain how he can copy her
Cursed speech
speech.
and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
Yeah,
suppose it could. There was a funny tweet about it where someone was like, "Well, Inumaki did lose an arm to Sukuna, but obviously that arm would have been mincemeated."
Rika's just lurking around eating
Yeah,
all the
eating
miscreant arms.
every arm that comes off a sorcerer. Um, but like he obviously did that back when he had the full Rika. That maybe her stipulation wasn't as harsh
Yeah,
as
maybe it was
this.
a little different.
Yeah,
Oh,
because she
that's
was.
a good point. I was thinking that was just like that was an assumption that Ishiguro was making where he was like, this is like, probably how it works. But it's like a misdirect because we know from Geto saying like, oh, Yuta can copy stuff unconditionally, right? Like, but that's a good point because this Rika is different. So it's like, who
Right.
knows what the rule book is like here? Because it has to be a little more like Rika was very loosey goosey.
Yeah, Rika kind of just does whatever she wants. And like he did the this is pure love laser beam in this chapter, which was cool.
Yeah, which was awesome to see again, especially as the movie's in theaters.
Yes. Which was awesome. And I like that they gave this little bit of like the pure passion coming out of Ryu was enough to kind of
Melt Yuta's
get
heart.
Yuta to give a little back to instead of just being like the stoic. And
And
then
I
I like
like
how it
that. Like I
ends.
like stoic characters. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
I like stoic characters, but like give me a little bit of that, that original like warm personality. Like
Yeah.
especially when you're in combat, have fun, have a blast. Like and it's all telling me that Yuta's gonna die. Not to get on that train. Like as
Yeah.
he's starting to ease up a little bit, it's like, oh, I'm having a good time. Everything's going well. Oh, we're seeing the real Yuta. You're dead, buddy. You're dead.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's gonna happen at some point, but I'm not ready for that point yet, so I'm choosing to
No.
disregard the red flags in my brain.
No, but I feel it slowly building where it's like, man, yeah, you're having all these W's. You're doing so great. So great. Congratulations. But it's going to turn around. The other side's going to come.
I wonder
It's
what
kind
the
of like how we
actual
redirected. Sorry, good.
I wonder what the actual condition is for copying, because I don't think he's right that it's
I wonder if
because
it's like
Rika.
just physical contact.
I don't, because like everyone always asks the question, why does he not use Limitless at any point? If he can just copy whatever he wants. Other than the
I wonder if
fact
he
that
just
having
can't.
a second Limitless user would be super bonkers anyway and would defeat the purpose of sealing Gojo, like from a reader perspective, that's the obvious reason. But there's not like a lore reason given yet as to why he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I think if I had to go for like a narrative reason, maybe it would be like, everyone always has that one trump card they have. So we see Yuta pretty much copying all the badass curse techniques and the strong ones, but like if he's gonna save one, you would save
Just
Limitless.
like in the back pocket, like someone's gonna show
Yeah.
up and be like, "I got you," and then Could you imagine the fucking explosion on Twitter if
Oh, it's
Yuta
gonna
was
be
about
nuts.
to die and the last panel of the chapter was the attack stopping short?
It's gonna be insane. I think it'll happen honestly,
I could
because
see
like
it.
another thing is that's definitely the one thing you don't want anyone else to know that you can do, because it's like you're not expecting it when it happens. You know what I mean? This is like my ultimate secret trump card. I'm Gojo student. Maybe when he came and saw me, for the little bit of time when I was overseas, maybe he gave me some pointers. I was like, hey man, trying
Yeah,
Limitless.
let
You
me
got any tips?
let me take that Limitless from you right quick.
Without the six eyes, I don't really know, buddy, but maybe you could try putting your back into it a little more. And you just like, oh, that kind of worked.
Yeah, I mean, he
Oh,
doesn't need
okay.
to use like hollow purple. He just needs to like the limitless
Just block some
barrier
stuff.
in and of itself is like the most broken shit. Like,
Yeah, it just doesn't touch me, buddy.
yeah, he just doesn't do shit. Also, this is a minor thing, but I really like on page 13 where when Ryu's remembering Rika eating the arm, his thought bubble is just in his hair.
Yeah, no, that's like one of the things I really love about Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Not just the paneling, but the way the stuff in the panel is used is always really interesting. Like I like when the panel separates a person's face and then like it's still continuous. You see like
Hmm.
one eye and the other eye. I like that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's not used till its full effect, but here it definitely was. I like the hair being used like in a Diabolo kind of way to show
Yeah,
what
like
previously
his
happened. Or
thought. I have no idea what Thin Icebreaker is. I'm sorry if I'm a fake Jujutsu Kaisen fan and that
no,
was
I
used by
also
someone
didn't
else.
really know what that was.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just like fake fan. Some random person used that like 48 chapters ago.
Well, we're gonna know what it is in the comments later. They're gonna
Oh
be like,
yeah.
"How do you not know that that is?"
Oh, it's apparently one of Uro's techniques.
Oh, okay. Wow, well, easy to miss that.
Yeah, so I
The
guess that
space bendy stuff.
I guess she hit Yuta with it at some point.
He just copied her whole kit.
Oh, okay. The reason it doesn't look familiar is that when Yuta does it, it just looks like a black flash. But when she does it, it does not look like that at all. So, okay.
All right. Oh, maybe that's why like the light is like warped around him from the back, right? That looks just like it's like kind of impacty, stuff like showing the paneling. But maybe that's what that is. That space warping
Uh, hitting the
behind
surface
them.
of the sky, not the opponent directly. She hits the surface layer of the sky and shatters it like thin ice, striking her opponent with the effect of the breaking sky.
Oh, okay. Whitebeard.
So yeah, I guess instead of punching him in the stomach, he punched the sky layer right next to his stomach and made it explode on him.
It's Whitebeard. It's
Yeah,
horrifying.
which is pretty sick. And then Rika decks him right in the pompadour, which is good.
And then we have Rika breaking up, and obviously the time kind of ended up coming the 5 minute time limit.
Yeah, she did hit the time limit. And it's
But I
cool
like how
though
the fight continues after that.
Yeah, like it doesn't limit Yuta. Like once Rika's gone, Yuta's not out of options.
He's like, sure, okay. I'm kind of hand to hand right now. I really don't have time to think about that. And I like the hand to hand fighting in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I like how it's drawn specifically, all the quick movements and everything. Like maybe it gets a little messy sometimes. Some people will say, but I like it. It shows the intensity of what's happening.
Right, cool, because like a fight is messy, right? Like
Yeah.
there's these
Yeah,
dudes
no,
just in
it
each
doesn't
other's
have to
face
be so
scrapping.
clean.
It doesn't have to be like the Phantom Menace choreography every single time. Like sometimes it's
Yeah, I
just
feel
dudes
like
scrapping.
people talk about Jujutsu Kaisen's art being bad, but it's like, no, dude, it's very effective for like what it's trying to do. Like I'm sure it could be drawn better, but like we always see those moments where it's like, oh no, yeah, no, Gege can draw. This is a great looking panel.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a great looking
Jujutsu
spread.
Kaisen is sketchy by design.
Yeah,
That's how he likes it to look.
so that's why I don't appreciate people who are like, oh, this is ugly. It's like, dude, this looks great. Like I like that it's sketchy. I like that I can see like individual lines sometimes, or I can see simple designs and simple lines. Like it looks cool. Mahito's outfit just being a bunch of simple white lines on a black outfit, that was badass.
Yeah, like my thing is always that I will prefer stylization over like the sterile looking like this is a
Your
manga
art
from the
is
year
great,
2020.
but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know?
that's why a lot of stuff gets canceled. I feel like also like you can kind of tell sometimes when it's like, yeah, this technically looks good.
Like but it has no visual identity.
There's nothing like that's why I'm more mad about Phantom Seer because Phantom Seer had both of those things. Like it technically looked great, but also it was very, very like its own thing. You could
Yes,
tell
like
like
they
if
were
you were reading a
big on
page
the
of Phantom
horror
Seer,
style.
yeah. Like if you were reading a page of Phantom Seer, you knew you weren't reading something else.
Correct. And it man, I'm never going to recover from that, I don't think.
I hope they come back with another manga.
Me too, because Phantom Seer was fucking awesome, but I don't know, man. The agony that I feel in my heart is never gonna go away from that.
I feel like if I was a mangaka and I got canceled, I would kind of go like the Hori route where it's like, yeah, you canceled all my other stuff, but now I have something that's popular, so I'm gonna work all my other stuff into this. Have fun.
Yeah, you may
Have
have
fun with
canceled
that.
this, but damn it, now he's gonna be the villain of
Now
my
there's gonna be 200 zoo characters in my manga, and also the main villain from there is gonna, or the main character from there is now my new main villain. Enjoy, and I'm not revealing it for 300 chapters. Enjoy.
Got him.
What are you gonna do? Cancel me now? We're baked in.
That's why he just wants to get My Hero over with, because it was just a convoluted revenge scheme from the beginning.
He was like, "Oh, this joke went on too long, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was
he got
expecting
his
100
revenge
chapters."
now, and he's like, all right, I gotta get this shit done. I'm over it.
Yeah, they're kind of getting it back on me right now.
Yeah, now they're
That's
making
how
me
he
still
feels.
work these hours.
He's like, "Okay, wait a minute."
I'm gonna need to
I
start
didn't mean for
another
this.
series with a shitty schedule if they keep making me
And
work
then
like this.
Deku, 400 chapters in, Deku's gonna be revealed to be the main villain. He's gonna just pull up and be like, "Huh, sure, I'm here now." We're still waiting for like the character from Barrage to be in the manga, aren't we? Like, wasn't that in the volume extras a couple volumes ago?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not the right host for this My Hero question.
There was like a volume extra where like the main character from one of Hori's canceled works, Barrage, was like very clearly just there, like in a scrap panel or something like that. And a lot of the stuff that we saw from the volume extras ended up coming out in like future chapters, like Ochako's little speech stuff like that. We all ended up seeing that. But like that noticeably is still not anywhere. Like Horikoshi has a way of working in all his like previous characters one way or another. And not the main characters though, you know. But it seemed like he was finally about to just go, okay, here's my main character from Barrage. We're just doing it. But he ended up not doing it, and I wonder if that was like an editor thing, or he was just like, no, 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 no.
Oh,
He's
the
cool
editor
with
was like,
Deku,
all right,
maybe
that's
not.
enough. That's enough of you
No, because
trying to
that
get one
character's
over on us.
power is arguably cooler than anything Deku has. So it's like, oh yeah, don't introduce him, man. Easily gonna overshadow Deku really quickly.
That would be kind of funny though. As someone who thinks it's funny when Deku gets shit on, that would be very funny to me.
Yeah. No, right at the end, it's like, hey, when you want to have your main focus on your main character, hey, but here's this cool guy that I made 10 years ago. I forgot to work him in.
Look how
Hey,
fucking
here's this
cool
bunny
this
rabbit.
dude is.
Dude, I used to make sick shit. I used to make sick stuff.
Damn, look how cool
God,
shit
Hawks
was.
isn't a bird.
Oh my god. Anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen fucking rules all the time. Still.
Awesome. It leaves you speechless, honestly.
Yeah.
He did the quick, turn up maneuver with the sky, ended up crashing on Ishigori. But I wonder if Ishigori is going to die.
I don't know. Because supposedly Uro is not dead either, because Yuta didn't get the little dude, didn't come out and give him any points.
So, like, maybe he'll do the points transferring, but what I wonder about Ishigori specifically is, like, they're both smiling at each other at the end, right? Obviously he activated, like, some happiness in Yuta's heart. Could they be friends? Despite the fact that I believe Ishigori is, like, one of the ancient sorcerers,
yeah,
right?
He's
like,
one of the reincarnated
old boys. Wouldn't that be interesting to have one of those, like, in the actual cast? Or, like
on your team?
even just for this?
Yeah,
because we don't have one. Besides, obviously, like, Sukuna.
Well, yeah.
Is really on your side? No. He gets loose. This turns into an entirely different arc.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, Uro can't really do much more, I wouldn't think, with one arm. Uro's done
and
for.
Especially, like, is not really needed since Yuta is just taking her whole kit anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really need you around.
Like, and then it makes me wonder, like, could Yuta use Uro's abilities now? How would it work? He doesn't have the hair.
He's just gonna start wearing this guy.
Like, I don't know. Shit's like.
Have we ever seen him mix abilities together?
No.
Like true? No.
I don't even
wonder
know
if
if
that's
he actually can or not.
Yeah, that's something that could potentially be like another trump card. Imagine mixing like, oh, I have so many of these things now. Let's start twisting them.
Well, he does do that thing against Uro where he uses that weapon that Rika gave him plus curse speech at the same time.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. So maybe I wonder like what interesting combinations you could get out of like the combinations of curse techniques that he has already. Like, how would you mix Uro's? I almost called it a quirk. Oh my god, Uro's curse technique with like limitless, or like.
Well, I mean, if he can fire his own beams, could he theoretically fire them and then redirect them and make like these giant ass ricochets all over the place?
Oh my god. Yuta's dying, everyone. Yuta's dying, folks. The more useful he gets, the more I'm like, hey, you're reaching that point, buddy.
Yeah, you're hitting the prison realm point real soon.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, man, we might have to switch Gojo for this guy in the box because he's no, he's doing too much.
And so now the question is, this fight's over. It ended this chapter like I kind of expected it would. Where does the focus go next? Do we stay on Yuta? Do we go back to Megumi and the Angel? Do we move to Hikari and his fight against the classic sorcerer?
We'll probably get like half a chapter of like Yuta stuff just kind of rounding out, this little thing, getting the points, probably like a little point transfer section. And then I hope by the end of next chapter, after we check on like, Yuji and stuff and Megumi and see what's going on with them for a little bit, maybe, I hope we switch over to Hikari by the chapter cliffhanger. Because I want to keep the fights going, and I'm really, really interested in seeing what he could do.
Yeah, Hikari, like, they did not really give him much when he came in, other than Yuta saying, oh, he could maybe be stronger than me, and Maki saying, like, shut up, idiot.
Which he's a little biased, obviously.
Oh, yeah. But then we've also, like, there was some talk on Twitter of, like, the heroes have been cleaning house too much recently. Is it time for the heroes to lose, and will it be Hikari that loses to this person to, like, cement them as a big deal?
No, if Hikari loses, I'm calling racially motivated.
First
I'm telling you
Miguel
right
and now
now.
this.
We can't just have everybody start winning, and then it's like, all right, and then we switch to Hikari, who we've been hyping up, and then he gets folded like a brick. Bricks don't get folded.
No, he could. I don't know. He could drop like a brick, I guess. Seems
Yeah,
like
I guess
one.
Uro could fold a brick,
Yeah.
technically.
Well, yeah. I guess you could. Yuta now can. Yuta can
Yeah.
fold bricks now.
Let's see if it spreads to the rest of the cast.
Oh
Well,
god.
like, I'm really hoping he doesn't lose. I'm hoping like he also gets like a series of like 1 or 2 battles. But like, at what point is the shoe gonna drop? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we
been
know
going
at
too
some
well
point.
for too long.
Yeah, that's not how this manga goes. Every time good things happen, it's only in service of bad things happening.
Yeah, we need to suffer more because Akutami hates all of us.
What is the bomb gonna be that's dropped on all the cast? Right? Like,
And when are we gonna find out what Kenjaku's doing in China? What are you doing over
yeah,
there,
that was
buddy?
kind of like a random aside. He's
Yeah.
like, "Hi, China.
Hello, Chinese
I'm
Board
here to
of
speak now."
Parliament, I guess, whatever that was.
He's gonna give them all cross techniques.
Yeah, I don't
You
know,
want to
man.
join my games?
Fuck, Jujutsu Kaisen's so good. Every single time I learn something new, it makes me think of like a million different questions that I didn't have yet, but that doesn't
Which is
upset me.
very
I'm just
healthy for a
excited.
manga.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's good. That's like what you want, right? That's like, and then you have to be able to pay all that stuff off at the end.
Well,
But
yeah.
that's always like a very healthy sign of a manga where it's like, man, every time I think I know what's going on, I kind of know what's going on, but now I have another question that I really need answered. So I'm gonna keep reading.
Yeah, like that's what it is. Is no matter what happens in Jujutsu Kaisen, it finally answers a question, and then you're like, oh, okay. So what about these other 11 million things I now have to wonder about?
That
How the fuck
great.
did
Now we have to
Kenjaku
worry
fuck
about
Yuji's
like,
dad? That's what I need to know.
and why? Why? You sick? You sick? Yeah. By the way, I'm your mom. Huh?
Oh my god.
You're what?
Yeah, I don't. Oh my god. Why? What was the purpose?
What a brain blast, by the way. Yeah, no, I'm a brain. I'm also your mom, and I'm also your best friend, dude. I'm a lot of things. I've been a lot of people.
Everything.
I'm kind of a nomad.
Like what? Did he try as like the original Noritoshi Kamo? Did he try to like make the cursed womb children and it didn't work out? And he was like, fine, the mom wasn't good enough. I'll just do it myself.
I'll just be the
I'll
mom.
be the mom then, god damn it.
And at what point, because it has to be asked, did he become the mom? Was it after?
Oh, I
Or
don't
was
know.
it before?
That's a good question too. I assume
Yeah,
before because
because I would bet that changes things, right? I would assume before, but it's like, what's the difference between like, switching over while the baby is already there and like, you're pregnant, obviously, or like being there for conception?
or like does it even matter? Because he's just the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So it wouldn't change the DNA. Like, what difference does it make? Is it his DNA in there all of a sudden?
I don't know. Yeah, he mixes. I don't know. It's gonna be weird though. Like no matter what, it's guaranteed to be like, okay, that's a thing. Sure.
Yeah, because
How
I mean,
much have you been doing that?
there's all that big theory about like Yuji has a heavenly restriction, which is why he's stronger than Maki.
But then he gets cursed energy, so it's like, well, are you just the one that's built different?
Well,
And I mean, if you
I
are,
was
we
always under
get
the
why.
assumption it was Sukuna's cursed energy he was accessing, but then he's like manipulating it, doing all this shit with it. I don't know, man. I don't
It's
know.
dicey. It's dicey.
Shit's getting wild. All I know is
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Kenjaku fucked Yuji's dad. That's all I know.
Yeah. I still beat.
That's gonna be his final words.
Still beat.
As Yushi's finishing him off. That's all he's gonna have to say.
Still beat.
He's
Just like that.
He's puking up blood.
Coughing brain, brain matter. You can kill my user, but I fucked your dad. It really was our Jujutsu Kaisen all along.
The real Jujutsu Kaisen was the mothers we found out about along the way.
Like even Aizen wasn't giving it up like that. He wasn't like, yo, I'm your dad, by the way.
Yeah, even Aizen was like from a respectful distance.
Kenjaku took 2 steps forward. He didn't be the dad. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something no one's ever done. I'm gonna be your mom.
I'm gonna be the mom.
I'm gonna be your mom, and then I'm gonna be your teacher's best friend. Imagine how weird that's gonna make your friendship now. Enjoy that awkward conversation.
Yeah,
Hey,
enjoy
dude.
busting him out of the prison realm just to tell him that his best friend is your mom.
He's like, what? What did you just say? What were the words that you just said? Yeah, dude, I think you knew my mom. What?
Yeah, I think that guy that you said is your best friend, I think he fucked my dad as a woman.
You say, why am I collecting all these orphans? What's happening? This is not my job.
Oh man, speaking of Gojo getting out of the prison realm, he's gonna have a whole lot of shit to reckon with at that point.
I feel like he's just in there having a dance party.
Like just chilling, assuming everything's
Yeah.
fine.
Like the skeletons are serving him wine, and he's just having a great, jolly old time. Like,
Because even he was like, "Oh,
right.
it doesn't the feeling of time passing doesn't happen here." So he may not even know how long it's been by the time they get him out of there.
Could you imagine if it's like the opposite, where it's like, hey, I have infinite time to just get better in here. Y'all
I'm
thought I
even
couldn't get any
stronger.
better? Sure, I'm coming out super busted. Limitless the globe. Do some weird shit.
He comes
We're
out. And
going
he's just,
limitless around the planet.
I can limitless everyone.
Your attack doesn't even leave 2 inches from your hand. Enjoy
He
that.
just
Enjoy that
comes out
blowback,
with gold
asshole.
experience requiem.
Comes out with golden hair. Unexplained. Never explained. We have
Never.
to hear about it in a Gege interview where he ruins more of the manga. He's like, yeah, by the way, this is why I did that. I just was like, I like cool gold hair. You guys were liking the white hair too much.
You think
No, let's
Akutami's
go gold.
shredding when he has to inevitably let Gojo out?
Absolutely.
He's
That's
just
why I think it's
miserable.
going to happen near the very end.
He's just so fucking sick of it.
He's like, I have to write an arc. Like, naturally, everyone's going to want to get Gojo out the box. So I have to write an arc where they try to do that. But how can I just keep making it so Kenjaku is just like, no, let's one step further.
No, I'm taking the box.
You're going to need this.
Not
I'm sure
you have the
Tengen's
box.
going to ruin everything somehow.
Yeah, Tengen's gonna
All
fuck it all
right.
up.
Hey, you guys think you're going to free Gojo? Actually, you freed me. I'm a concept now. I'm one with the universe.
I'm a weird
oh.
thumb tree man, but now I'm
Everyone,
everywhere.
I'm everything. Everyone has like, what's going to happen when Tengen gets out the room?
And then Tengen was like, "Oh yeah, Kenjaku could totally like eat me and gain my power because I'm basically a cursed spirit." But what if he already did that?
Yeah, what if you are a copy or something?
Like, what if he are because like Geto can just
just
create
summon
them? Yeah, he did against Yuta. What if he already did that and Thumb Guy's
And
just on his
know.
side? We're gonna cut back and Yuki and Choso are just gonna be dead.
That would make me sad. I would realize as soon as Choso was left in that room, I'm like, bro,
Oh,
don't
as
do
soon
this
as they
to
left
me.
Choso behind, I was like, that man's dead for sure.
I'm like, don't do this to me. I like this weird relationship he has with Yuji, where Yuji's like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. Yeah, you're my brother, man. All right.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, fine.
I'm breaking down right now. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm going through a lot right now. I don't have time to contest this.
It's okay, yes. Brother, because remember when we were young, Mom used to serve us that dish. Dude, please. Please, my mom is a real, like, a touchy subject right now.
My mom is a brain inside of a woman I don't know.
Hey, come on, man. That's my mom, too. Is it? Is it really?
No, actually, it's my dad. My dad is your mom.
How did I do this? And you're my brother? We have siblings?
That I killed
Yuji
two of?
has no idea, by the way, like, how that works. So people are just like, yeah, I'm your brother. He's like, what? What did you do? What happened?
Yeah, and then he's just like, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah, no, it's also great that he's just like, okay, well, I clearly can do nothing about this. So yeah, sure. I guess we're friends now. Hi, everyone. This is Choso. He's cool. He's like, is that a, okay. I have questions, but I'll reserve them for when he's not here.
Yeah, when he's not here. And then he left, and he's gonna die, so.
Yeah, so that'll come soon, the round of questions for like, so what was that about, by the way? Like, did you owe him a favor? Did you lose a bet? It was really awkward. Jujutsu Kaisen.
it was really awkward should just be the tagline of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, it was really awkward, but it's also the story about found family in the truest sense. You just find people and you're like, I'm your brother. Oh. You find people, I'm your mom. Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh, Grandpa?
Yeah,
I really wish Grandpa would explain my lineage to me a little better.
I really wish he would have brought that shit up.
Yeah, by the way, dude, like, your mom. We got to talk about. No, you'll figure that out. Jujutsu Kaisen.
It'll work out in time, and then just the title drop, Jujutsu Kaisen.
It'll work out. Jujutsu Kaisen. It didn't.
It did not work out.
Someone got packed in a freezer with ice packs.
Every single week.
Horrifying.
Oh,
I like the horror aspects in this manga, though. I always appreciate how they poke their head out from time to time.
yeah, just like the creepy designs and whatnot. It's pretty sick.
Love it.
I also
I
don't know
love
what
the
Maki's
obvious.
doing, because she's still out there going like fucking. I don't even
Ape shit.
know.
Just
Yeah,
having a
just like
blast.
Batman on everybody. Except she
I
does
can't
kill.
wait for like. Sorry, go ahead.
I said she's going Batman, except she will absolutely fucking kill you.
Yeah, she's Snyderverse Batman.
Yeah.
You know, she's really out there in the streets.
She's Jujutsu Kaisen's Batfleck.
I like how I completely lost that thought. Wow.
But whatever it was,
just evaporated.
you did like it.
I loved it. It's gone now. I liked it that much. Oh, I was gonna say I love the clear like Junji Ito inspirations all the time, right? Before it was like overt. I noticed it, and then it became like, oh, okay, we're just doing Uzumaki. All right,
yeah, it's
fine.
just happening. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could quite do that one. But okay, I love it. I wish more mangaka would just, yeah, here's this thing from another manga. It's my ability. Whatever. No bigs.
Jujutsu Kaisen's damn good. But all right, everybody. I think that is where we'll cut her off for today.
We shonen and chilled.
We shonen and chilled at the same
We did
time.
it.
Talked about some chapters people were not expecting to see. I cannot wait to see the what the fucks at the timestamps this week.
Sakamoto!
Gonna be Sakamoto's in there. One Piece is in there.
Yeah, no, we have to, and it's interesting that I am on the One Piece episode. I come out here to talk about One Piece.
Yeah, Mr. My Hero Pineapple is on here to talk about to bring One Piece to the people.
Yeah, no, I had the spread, you know, Horikoshi's original inspiration at the end of the day. Oda. It's kind of a natural full circle.
That's true. We've come all the way around. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Shonen and Chill, and I will see you next week. And I'm sure Vocal Pineapple will see you in the future at some point.
Oh, I'm gonna sneak in. I'm gonna sneak in next week and just pop in and scream at some point. So I'll see you guys. Also, I'll be a jump scare.
All right, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.